pass of them, eh? Push again, my lady. Not so fast, not so fast. Go gently now." Isabelle bit her lip and struggled not to push as hard as her instincts dictated. Taking the baby's ankles, tugging gently, the midwife drew his torso up and on to Isabelle's abdomen. As the mouth and nose emerged from the birth canal, she wiped them clear of blood and mucus. Then, watching intently, controlled the emergence of the rest of the head with a gentle hand. Propped on her elbows, Isabelle stared at the baby, lying upon her body like a drowned shipwrecked sailor. His colour was greyish-blue, and he wasn't moving. Panic shot through her. "Holy St. Margaret, is he—" The woman lifted the baby by his ankles, swung him gently, and applied a sharp tap to his buttocks. Then again. A shudder rippled through him. His little chest expanded, and a wail of protest met the air. Uncertain at first, but gathering momentum and infusing his body with a flush of life-giving pink. Righting him, the midwife turned to Isabelle, a smile deepening the creases in her wrinkled cheeks. "Just needed a bit of persuading," she said. "Best have the priest name him, though, to be on the safe side." She wrapped him in a warm towel and placed him in Isabelle's arms. The cord having been cut, and the afterbirth expelled and taken away for burial, Isabelle gazed into the birth-crumpled features of her newborn son, and, still deeply anxious, watched his shallow breathing. A baffled, slightly quizzical frown puckered his delicately sketched brows. His little hands were tightly clenched, as if to fight the world into which he had been so brutally initiated. "Gilbert," she said softly, "I wonder what your father is going to make of you." She blew softly against his cheek and gave him her forefinger, around which to curl his miniature hand. After a moment, she lifted her gaze from the baby and fixed it on her chamber window and the arch of soft blue sky it framed. Her own ordeal was almost over, and, God willing, if she did not take the childbed fever, she would soon be on her feet. St. Margaret could be thanked with an offering and packed away in her coffer again until needed. Now she would concentrate on prayers for her husband's safety and ask God to bring him home in one piece to greet their new son. The assault on the castle of Milly was not going well. Indeed, it was a shambles. Eyes narrowed, William Marshal stared across the ditch towards the castle walls and cursed under his breath, his gaze clinging to the sergeants and soldiers toiling their way up the rungs of the scaling ladder like ants on a twig. Several of these ladders had been concentrated at one part of the wall, as King Richard's forces attempted to storm the castle and seize it from its rebellious constable. "Make haste! In God's name, make haste!" Jean Darley, William's former squire, now a knight of his company, danced from foot to foot, chewed his lip and clenched and unclenched his fists. The defenders on the battlements strove desperately to dislodge the ladders from the walls, while the weight of their enemies was still sufficiently low down to make it feasible. Crossbow bolts, arrows, stakes, and boulders rained down on the attackers. Stricken men tumbled from the ladders into the ditch, some in silence, others screaming. "It's going to fall! Christ help them!" Jean's voice was anguished as the defenders succeeded in lodging a crowbar between one of the ladder ends and the wall and began levering. "My shield!" William beckoned to his squire with a flick of his left hand. The ladder slipped sideways and toppled, smashing its burden of soldiers into bank and ditch. The cries of the crushed and maimed rose in chilling twists of sound to join the clamour of battle. A few fortunates crawled and hobbled to safety, but many more lay broken and dying amid the splintered remnants of the siege ladder. Cheers of abuse and a fresh barrage of missiles pelted down from the walls in a lethal rain. William thrust his hand through his shield grips. The legendary green and yellow Marshal colours faced the embattled walls, the painted Scarlet Lion clawing the foreground. Something had to be done, and fast. If they didn't gain those wall walks, they were going to have to choose between sitting down to starve the bastards.